Dark Souls, a series defined by its brutal difficulty, intricate lore, and unforgettable boss battles. Every encounter is a test of skill, patience, and determination, pushing players to their absolute limits. But amidst the countless deaths and narrow victories, there are those bosses that stand above the rest, those that leave an indelible mark on anyone who dares to face them. In this video, we'll be counting down the top 10 best bosses in the Dark Souls series. These are the battles that defined the franchise, tested our courage, and rewarded our perseverance with some of the most memorable moments in gaming history. From the tragic tale of Artorias to the overwhelming might of Ornstein and Smough, each of these bosses brings something unique to the table. So prepare yourself, because we're about to delve into the dark and unforgiving world of Dark Souls to uncover the best of the best. At number 10, we have the Four Kings, a battle that pushes players into the heart of darkness, both literally and figuratively. Found deep beneath the ruins of New Lundo, the Four Kings are the corrupted protectors of the city, bound by the abyss after succumbing to its influence. What makes the Four Kings such a memorable encounter is the unique challenge they present. Instead of facing a single opponent, you're up against four distinct entities, each one wielding a massive sword and relentless in their assault. But the real difficulty comes from the battle's unforgiving mechanics. Unlike most boss fights in Dark Souls, the Four Kings don't wait their turn. As soon as the battle begins, you're on a timer. Defeat one king too slowly, and the next will join the fray, quickly overwhelming even the most prepared players. It's a test of both endurance and strategy, forcing you to balance offense and defense while navigating the void of the abyss. But it's not just the mechanics that make this fight stand out. The lore behind the Four Kings adds a layer of tragedy to the encounter. Once noble rulers, they were given fragments of Gwyn's soul to protect New Lundo. However, their greed and lust for power led them to embrace the abyss, ultimately dooming the entire city and its inhabitants. Now, as you fight them in the endless void, you're not just battling for your own survival, you're confronting the remnants of a fallen kingdom. The Four Kings serve as a stark reminder of the consequences of hubris and the corrupting power of the abyss. Their battle is a relentless, harrowing experience that tests your ability to stay calm under pressure, a fitting start to our countdown of the best bosses in the Dark Souls series. At number 9, we have one of the most formidable and mysterious figures in the entire Dark Souls series, the Nameless King. As you ascend to the peak of the world, you are met with an ancient, sacred place where dragons once roamed freely. But it's at the summit where you face a godlike warrior who has forsaken his title, but not his power. The Nameless King is a battle of epic proportions, divided into two distinct phases. In the first phase, you face him alongside his Storm Drake, a towering beast that sweeps the arena with powerful lightning attacks. This phase tests your ability to manage a dynamic battlefield, dodging both the dragon's ferocious assaults and the Nameless King's relentless strikes from above. But it's the second phase where the true challenge begins. After bringing down the Storm Drake, the Nameless King dismounts, and the real fight begins. Now wielding his massive, lightning-infused spear, the Nameless King takes on a more aggressive and deadly form. His attacks are swift, devastating, and often unpredictable, requiring perfect timing and precise movement to survive. The Nameless King isn't just a test of your combat skills. He's also one of the most intriguing figures in the Dark Souls lore. Widely believed to be the firstborn son of Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight, he was a god of war who betrayed his kin to ally with the dragons. For this act of treachery, his name was stricken from the annals of history, and he became known only as the Nameless King. His fight represents not just a physical battle, but a clash of titanic legacies, the fading age of fire against the primordial power of the storm and dragons. The Nameless King is a true test of everything you've learned in Dark Souls, demanding precision, patience, and an unwavering resolve. His fight is a breathtaking spectacle, set against one of the most visually stunning backdrops in the series. For many, this battle is the ultimate challenge, one that cements the Nameless King's place as one of the greatest bosses in Dark Souls. At number 8, we have Iudex Gundyr, a boss who might be the first you encounter in Dark Souls III. But don't let that fool you. As the game's introduction to its brutal combat system, Gundyr serves as the gatekeeper to the world of Lothric, testing both your skill and your resolve right from the start. Gundyr is a masterclass in setting the tone for Dark Souls III. As the first boss, he immediately establishes the game's uncompromising difficulty. His towering frame and aggressive fighting style force you to quickly learn the importance of timing, dodging, and stamina management. In a matter of seconds, he goes from a dormant statue to a relentless adversary, charging at you with a massive halberd and leaving no room for error. But what truly sets Iudex Gundyr apart is his sudden transformation. Just as you start to get a handle on the fight, he shifts into his second phase, where a grotesque, writhing mass of darkness erupts from his body. This abyssal corruption, known as the pus of man, turns an already challenging fight into a chaotic struggle for survival. His movements become more erratic and unpredictable, and his attacks more devastating, forcing you to adapt quickly or face a swift defeat. Lore-wise, Iudex Gundyr's story is steeped in tragedy. He was once a mighty warrior who arrived too late to fulfill his duty as the champion of fire. Instead, he was cursed to serve as the judge, Iudex, of those who would attempt to link the flame. His name, Gundyr, meaning he who judges, reflects his role as the first great challenge for the unkindled. The corruption that overcomes him symbolizes the creeping influence of the abyss, a recurring theme throughout the series. Iudex Gundyr might be the first boss in Dark Souls III, but he's far from a pushover. His fight teaches you the harsh lessons that define the Dark Souls experience, lessons you'll need to survive the challenges that lie ahead. As an introduction to the world of Lothric, Gundyr is an unforgettable test of strength and skill, earning him a well-deserved spot on our list of the best bosses in the series. At number 7, we have the soul of Cinder, the final boss of Dark Souls III, and the embodiment of all those who have linked the fire before you. As the culmination of the entire series, this fight is a tribute to everything Dark Souls represents. A relentless, epic struggle against overwhelming odds, steeped in the history and lore of the world you fought so hard to reach. The soul of Cinder is not just any boss, it's a reflection of all who came before. This entity is a composite of every hero who has linked the fire across the ages, and it fights with the knowledge and skills of all those who have tried to prolong the age of fire. What makes this battle so unique is its dynamic nature. The soul of Cinder doesn't adhere to a single fighting style. Instead, it shifts between various combat forms, each representing a different class or playstyle from the series. This adaptability makes the fight unpredictable and challenging. One moment you're dodging a flurry of sword strikes, and the next, you're avoiding a barrage of spells or recovering from a devastating pyromancy attack. The soul of Cinder's fluid combat style forces you to master all aspects of Dark Souls' combat system, making this fight a true test of everything you've learned. The second phase of the battle is a powerful callback to the original game, as the soul of Cinder assumes the form of Gwyn himself. This moment is a poignant reminder of how far the series has come, with the player facing the same tragic figure who started it all. The music, the moveset, and the overwhelming sense of finality all contribute to making this phase one of the most memorable moments in the entire franchise. The soul of Cinder is the perfect final boss for Dark Souls III, and by extension, a fitting conclusion to the entire Dark Souls saga. It's a battle that encapsulates everything. The series stands for challenge, lore, and the eternal struggle between light and dark. Whether you choose to link the fire or let it fade, the soul of Cinder ensures that the legacy of Dark Souls will burn on in the memories of all who face it. At number 6, we have the Dancer of the Boreal Valley, an encounter that is as beautiful as it is terrifying. Emerging from the shadows of Lothric Castle, the dancer is a haunting embodiment of elegance and death, her movements a deadly dance that captivates and terrifies in equal measure. The dancer's fight is a stark contrast to many of the more aggressive, brute force encounters in Dark Souls. Instead of overwhelming you with sheer power, the dancer hypnotizes you with her fluid, almost rhythmic movements. But don't be fooled by her grace. Each of her slow, deliberate swings carries the weight of inevitable death, and her unpredictable attack patterns keep you constantly on edge. The key to surviving the dancer's onslaught is mastering the art of patience and precision. Her attacks may seem slow, but they are deceptively fast and can easily catch you off guard if you misjudge your timing. The dancer forces you to adapt to her rhythm, to carefully time your dodges and attacks as you move in tandem with her haunting dance. It's a battle that rewards skillful, calculated play rather than brute force. The dancer's lore adds another layer of tragedy to this already haunting fight. Once a loyal knight of the Boreal Valley, she was transformed into this twisted, spectral being by Pontiff Sulivan, who forced her into servitude as one of his outrider knights. Her body, now grotesquely elongated and corrupted, reflects the torment she's endured. Every step she takes, every swing of her blade, is a reminder of the cruel fate that befell her. The Dancer of the Boreal Valley is a fight that stays with you long after it's over. Her elegant, yet deadly dance, combined with her tragic backstory, creates an encounter that is both challenging and emotionally resonant. It's a battle that embodies the duality of beauty and horror, earning the dancer a well-deserved place among the best bosses in the Dark Souls series. At number 5, we have Nito, the Tomb Lord, a boss who embodies the very essence of death and decay. As one of the original bosses from Dark Souls, Nito is a harbinger of darkness and a testament to the series' ability to craft unforgettable and terrifying encounters. Nito is a unique and memorable boss, not just for his imposing size, but also for the atmosphere he creates. As the first of the 4 Lords of Cinder, he represents the power of death and the grave. His fight takes place in a grand, tomb-like arena, fitting for a lord of such dark and ancient power. The battle against Nito is both visually and mechanically striking. His massive, decaying form is intimidating, and his scythe attacks can clear large swaths of the arena. Adding to the challenge, Nito summons additional skeletons to aid him in battle. These adds can quickly overwhelm you if not managed properly, forcing you to balance your focus between Nito and the relentless minions he summons. Nito's lore ties deeply into the world's ancient history. As one of the original beings who emerged from the darkness before the Age of Fire, Nito is a symbol of the eternal cycle of life and death. He was a powerful entity who brought death to the world, establishing the tombs and graves that now define his domain. His presence in the game represents the inescapable nature of death and the decay that follows in its wake. Nito, the Tomb Lord, is a boss that captures the essence of Dark Souls' themes of death and decay. His imposing presence, combined with a challenging and memorable fight, makes him one of the standout bosses of the series. Facing Nito is not just a test of skill, but also a journey into the heart of the dark and mysterious world that defines Dark Souls. At number 4, we have King Vendrick, once great monarch, whose tragic fall from grace is a powerful testament to the themes of decay and ruin in Dark Souls 2. Found in the depths of the undead crypt, Vendrick is more than just a formidable boss. He is a symbol of the consequences of seeking immortality at any cost. King Vendrick's fight is as much about atmosphere and lore as it is about mechanics. Unlike many bosses who attack with aggression and speed, Vendrick's battle is defined by his overwhelming endurance and the melancholy of his story. He is not merely a physical challenge, but a reminder of the passage of time and the ravages of the curse that has befallen him. What makes King Vendrick a unique challenge is not just his physical prowess, but the state in which you find him. Vendrick is a shell of his former self, and his fight is affected by the player's progress throughout the game. Specifically, Vendrick's difficulty is influenced by the number of giant souls you've collected. This mechanic ties into the lore, as his strength is linked to his curse and the power of the giants he once fought against. The more giant souls you've gathered, the more difficult the battle becomes, adding a layer of strategy and depth to the encounter. Vendrick's story is one of hubris and tragedy. Once a revered king of Drangleic, he sought to defend his kingdom from the curse of the undead by seeking the power of the giants. His quest for immortality, however, led to his downfall. Corrupted and consumed by the curse, Vendrick was ultimately betrayed by his own people and left to wander his ruined kingdom in a state of near madness. His appearance as a broken king, clad in tarnished armor and haunted by his past, serves as a powerful commentary on the cost of defying fate and the inevitability of decline. King Vendrick is a boss that embodies the sorrowful grandeur of a fallen ruler. His fight is a poignant reminder of the consequences of ambition and the inexorable march of time. With his tragic backstory and the unique mechanics of the battle, Vendrick earns his place as one of the most memorable and impactful bosses in the Dark Souls series. At number 3, we have Raime, the Fume Knight, a towering figure of immense power and one of the most formidable bosses in Dark Souls 2. Raime's fight is not just a test of your combat skills, but a journey into the heart of despair and rage. Encountering him in the depths of Broom Tower, you face one of the most intense and visually striking battles in the series. Raime, the Fume Knight, is a boss that commands attention with his sheer presence, clad in heavy armor and wielding the massive Fume Ultra Greatsword. Raime's strength and stature are immediately apparent. His attacks are powerful and devastating, and his endurance is a testament to his legendary status. This fight is as much about managing the battlefield as it is about dealing with Raime's overwhelming strength. Raime's combat style is defined by his aggressive and relentless assault. His swings with the Fume Ultra Greatsword are not only powerful, but can also cover a wide area, making dodging and positioning crucial to survival. The fight is further complicated by the arena itself, which features hazardous terrain and environmental obstacles that add another layer of difficulty. Managing your distance, timing your attacks, and understanding Raime's attack patterns are key to overcoming this formidable opponent. Raime's lore is a tragic tale of a knight consumed by despair. Once a loyal warrior of the old Iron Kings, he was known for his incredible strength and unwavering loyalty. However, his story takes a dark turn as he fell from grace and became one of the most fearsome entities in the tower he once served. The Fume Knight's transformation into a monstrous figure reflects the corruption and ruin that has befallen the world, and his fight embodies the themes of betrayal and fall from glory. Raime, the Fume Knight, is a boss that leaves a lasting impression with his sheer power and the haunting tale of his downfall. The intensity of the fight, combined with the rich lore and atmospheric setting of Broom Tower, makes Raime one of the most unforgettable and impactful bosses in the Dark Souls series. His battle is a test of both skill and resolve, earning him a well-deserved place among the greatest bosses of the franchise. At number 2, we have the legendary duo of Ornstein and Smough, one of the most iconic and challenging boss fights in the entire Dark Souls franchise. This battle is a true test of your combat skills, adaptability, and patience, combining the strengths of two very different adversaries into a single, unforgettable encounter. Ornstein and Smough are a perfect contrast in combat. Ornstein is agile and aggressive, using his spear to strike quickly and with precision. His attacks are fast and can cover large distances, making him a constant threat that requires swift reactions. On the other hand, Smough is a tank of a boss, slow but incredibly powerful. His attacks with the massive hammer are devastating and can easily crush the player if they're not careful. The key to this fight is managing the dual threat. You must constantly balance your focus between Ornstein and Smough, avoiding their simultaneous attacks while looking for opportunities to strike. Often, the bosses will coordinate their attacks, making it crucial to learn their patterns and understand when to focus on one and when to handle both. This dynamic creates a complex and tense combat experience that tests your ability to adapt and respond under pressure. Ornstein and Smough are not just challenging foes, they are deeply intertwined with the lore of Dark Souls. Ornstein, known as the Dragon Slayer, was a captain of the elite Knights of Gwyn, tasked with guarding Anor Londo. His agility and lightning-based attacks reflect his role as a fierce protector. Smough, on the other hand, was a brutal executioner whose size and strength were feared by all who crossed him. Together, they represent the ultimate test of skill and strategy, a trial designed to test the worthiness of anyone seeking to challenge the gods. Ornstein and Smough are more than just a boss fight. They are a defining moment in the Dark Souls experience. Their combined challenge, the contrasting styles, and the rich lore behind their characters make this battle one of the most memorable and revered encounters in the series. The intensity of the fight and the story behind these two legendary figures earn them a rightful place at the top of our list of the best bosses. At number 1, we have Artorias, the Abyss Walker, a boss that stands as the epitome of challenge and storytelling in the Dark Souls series. Known for his tragic fall from grace and his relentless, heroic spirit, Artorias is not just a fight, but an experience that encapsulates the essence of Dark Souls. Artorias, the Abyss Walker, is renowned for his challenging and dynamic combat style. With his sword shattered and his movements impaired by the curse of the Abyss, Artorias fights with a blend of aggression and tragic grace. Despite his broken state, he remains a formidable opponent whose strength and skill demand the utmost respect and strategy from any who face him. The fight against Artorias is a test of both skill and perseverance. His attack patterns are a mix of powerful, sweeping strikes and unpredictable, fast movements. Despite his physical limitations, Artorias' speed and precision can catch even the most prepared players off guard. His ability to dodge and counterattack with devastating efficiency makes this battle a true test of timing, patience, and adaptability. Each phase of the fight reveals more of his tragic story as he fights with the last remnants of his strength and honor. Artorias' lore is deeply intertwined with the themes of heroism and tragedy that define Dark Souls. Once a renowned knight and one of the greatest champions of Gwyn, Artorias fell to the corruption of the Abyss while attempting to save his kingdom. His fight against Manus, the primeval man, left him crippled and broken, yet he continued to defend what was left of his honor and his kingdom. Facing Artorias is not just a combat challenge, but a poignant encounter with a fallen hero whose story resonates deeply with the themes of sacrifice and the battle against overwhelming darkness. Artorias, the Abyss Walker, is the quintessential Dark Souls boss, a perfect blend of challenging gameplay and rich narrative. His battle is a testament to the series' ability to craft deeply memorable and emotionally impactful encounters. Artorias stands as a symbol of both the struggle and the spirit that define the Dark Souls franchise, earning him the top spot on our list of the best bosses in the series. And there you have it, our countdown of the top 10 bosses in the Dark Souls series. From the haunting elegance of the Dancer of the Boreal Valley to the tragic heroism of Artorias the Abyss Walker, each of these encounters offers a unique and unforgettable experience. The Dark Souls series is renowned for its challenging and intricate boss fights, and these 10 stand out as some of the most memorable and impactful in the entire franchise. But we want to hear from you. What are your favorite bosses from the Dark Souls series? Did your top picks make our list, or are there other encounters that you think deserve recognition? Drop your thoughts and favorite moments in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and celebrate the incredible world of Dark Souls together.